Ladies and gentlemen, meet the brand new 2020 Toyota Hi-Hi. You might be wondering, what's a Hi-Hi? Well, it's the Highlander hybrid, otherwise known, at least in my circles, as the Hi-Hi. And coming up in this video, I'm going to give you the 10 top most surprising facts about this new Highlander, including its fuel economy, because it's pretty astounding. Now, if this weren't the Hi-Hi, this would be a 6-cylinder, 3.5 liter that gets 293 horsepower and 253 pound-foot of torque. But this 4-cylinder gets 240 horsepower, but here's the number that's astounding. In fact, I can't think of any other car outside of maybe a Tesla Model X that gets such outstanding fuel economy. We're looking at between 33 and 34 mpg combined, which is pretty crazy compared to the fact that the last outgoing Highlander got 28. So how does Toyota achieve that astounding number? Well, that's number 9. So can you guys guess how many electric motors are in this Hi-Hi? If you guess 2, you'd be wrong, because in fact there are 3. There's 2 in the front, one that helps generate electricity, and of course one that helps power the front wheels. But since this is the AWD model, Platinum, there's also a 3rd electric motor in the back to create an all-wheel drive fuel economy monster. But there's more. At number 8 is one of the only, if not only, dynamic torque vectoring systems in the class. Now what does that mean? Now torque vectoring usually means that you can split power, and the Highlander can do that. It can split power from the front to the rear, but it can do more than that because it's dynamic. And that means it can also split power from the left to the right. And that's very handy for when we get to number 1, so remember that. Of course, the Hi-Hi is a family hauler, but interestingly, Toyota didn't really make it that much bigger for this 4th generation. In fact, it's one of the smallest cars in the segment. Most of the other vehicles in the segment are huge. I'm talking about vehicles like the Ford Explorer and of course the Chevy Traverse. But that does mean I get to stuff myself in the back seat. So let's see how that goes. Sure, let's put the tall big guy in the back. All right, first of all, how easy is this to get in the back seat? Well, one lever, that's easy. Slides. And here's the real test. Yeah, I mean, this is exceptionally tight. This is both headroom and legroom tight. 2nd row, no problem. 3rd row, you better not be wearing sunglasses, and you better not be older than, let's say, 10 years, because it really is tight. But let's see how much space is in the back with the seats up. So with great fuel economy sometimes comes some great inconvenience. So let's see how much space is behind the seats with the seats up. Of course it's electric. And I've got 2 pretty big camera bags here. Figure these are about the size of one of those roller boards that you put on the airplane. You know, it's much better than I thought. I was worried that with the seats up there wouldn't be a lot of room back here, but it's pretty roomy. You know, that's pretty ample space back here. Not only that, but I just noticed that each of the rear occupants has 1, 2 cup holders. Let's count cup holders just for fun. And number 4, of course, is the fact that not too long ago you couldn't get Android Auto or Apple CarPlay in a Toyota, but now you can get it in this Toyota, plus you can get Amazon Alexa and even Waze. And check it out, this screen is so big that it splits into 2 halves. Here it tells me what I'm playing, here of course is the time, and here's how much energy I've regenerated. But it gets better, check this out. When I hit this button, I get to see the cat that's walking behind the, actually it's in front of the Toyota, and wait for it, it's going to zoom out and it's going to give me hopefully a view of the cat again. there it goes, and a complete 360-degree view of our little caddy friend walking past the vehicle. That way, when I put it in reverse, I won't run him over. How cool is that? At number 3 is this headlight. Well, it's not really the headlight, it's more like the Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade, and maybe the VW Atlas. What I mean by that is, this is a sexy headlight. Let's face it, the old Highlander was getting a little long in the tooth, a little stodgy. This one, at least to my eye, is much sleeker, it's much sexier, it's just a much better looking vehicle. And when you're competing with the Telluride, the Palisade, and even the Atlas, you gotta bring your game, and Toyota did. At number 2, it's got to be, just look at this interior. It's so nice. I mean, everywhere I look, everything I touch is soft and real. It feels like a much more upscale vehicle. Not only do you have this classic shelf, now they've split into 2, but you also have beautiful leather, you have supple accents, you have switches that feel like they're out of a Lexus and not out of a Toyota. I think Kia and Hyundai have actually raised the level of interiors in cars, and Toyota has stepped up because I like this. I like this a lot. And number 1 are these 2 buttons. Remember, I just said that this is about as fuel efficient as you can get outside of a Tesla, because there is an EV mode. So if you've got the High, you can drive on electricity only. But more importantly is the trail button, because being from Colorado, I love the fact that Toyota has actually built in a trail mode, kind of like the RAV4, so that when you hit that button, it doesn't give you necessarily any more ground clearance, but it does optimize the dynamic torque vectoring system for off-road use, so that hopefully you get much better traction both in the snow and, for me, off-road. So you may be wondering, how does the Highlander drive? Well, unfortunately, exact pricing and driving impressions are embargoed. Basically, I can't talk about them because they gave me first dibs at driving this car until the end of the week. So you're gonna have to come back next week for a full first drive review of this new Toyota Hi-Hi. Yeah, I like saying Hi-Hi, and not because I'm from Colorado. Well, as always, this is Roman. Remember, check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, top 10 surprising Hi-Hi reviews. Ciao.